And again, one of the differences between us and traditional dowsing is that we are experimental, based on theoretical considerations. Whereas if I had one of the conventional dowsers here, they'd be asking me what questions should they ask and things like that.
Yeah, so yes, laboratory is
Drives us mad. It drives me mad. Anyhow, have you got your card wheel there? I'm going to have to borrow yours because I seem to have mislaid mine for some reason. What have I done with my rods now?
these.
I can use these. Had the bigger ones. Anyhow, if I sort of check the field between Marcus and the target, that's the target, and there's basically sort of no field there, because I'm sort of focusing partly on picking up something that's travelling across there. There is in fact masses of fields. It's like a kaleidoscope, and one has to focus on the ones that you're interested in.
Okay.
Now, if I ask Marcus to send a message to the target, such as bring me 2 cups of tea or something like that, then something moves and is created there. And so I can pick up this field. And that was a critical step, because the theory is that something must pass from the sender to the recipient. And we would say that your first step is to define that. Now, we know that things do pass from one thing to another because we've sorted all that out with standing waves and transmission of information and goodness knows what. But the first thing is it a standing wave system? And it appears to be sort of a standing wave system. It comes up on green, and that means that you could have one wavelength which is the standing wave, a big standing wave. Then within it you've got a whole load of other wavelengths which could be carrying information and doing all sorts of things, bouncing off the nodes of that bigger wave, and so creating their own standing wave systems as well. So we know that there's a method by which information could be transferred. Now, if I sort of check that again, and I go up. Now, it's where my hands are. The sensory system is in my hands. So it's where my hands are. And what I'm going to do is to see if, see, he put the target straight onto there. So it's a narrow beam. If I go in there, you see, I get a change around down there. If I go in here, my hands are nearly up to it again, so it's only a fairly narrow beam that's coming from the head, and I can trace all that back to Marcus. So here it is, and if I go there, it isn't there, and it's about there, and if I go lower, it's not there.
Okay.
So we know that it's coming from the head, and we can easily confirm that just by blocking it. Put a bit of cardboard or cork there, and it blocks the whole thing. Now, there is remnants. In other words, that will stay there for a limited period of time. So if Marcus gets up and moves over there, we'll find that the field is still there. So, and this is the sort of thing I have to do when I'm on my own. Yeah, and that's where his head was. Now, in theory, if I was precise, I could follow it back to see if it originates within the head or whether it originates on the forehead, the surface of the head. But I haven't done that one. Leave that to another time. Right, so that's what we've got, and what we're interested in now are the frequencies or the chemicals that are actually involved, and we can do that if I pick up that field, it's my hands, it's not my head that's doing it. So I know that that is a paramagnetic field. Now what I can do is, if we get rid of that, so if Marcus just stands by the chair again, but stands, and his target now is going to be that. So the beam is going to go across there at head height, my head height.
Yeah.
So if you send a message to that, and so the message is gone, and I have to raise my hands up to about that, yeah, so there it is, there,
Yeah.
right, so that's about it. Now, that is paramagnetic because I'm putting my hands into it. If I put my hands there below it, and I walk across it, I get a response.
Because it's going through your head.
There's a diamagnetic component.
Right, so it's travelling through your body.
Well, the sensory system for the diamagnetic is my head, in my head. So if I sort of walk across, get a response. So we know that the beam that's coming across is both dia and paramagnetic. So it's quite, well, we know it's complex now, but this is how we build up the information. And when we're looking at fields, we've got to know whether we're dealing with dia or para, and we're just going to find out if a crow field is involved as well.
Would you be able to explain the crow field?
No, we don't know enough about crow fields. Some of their properties. The crow field is a diamagnetic one, and I get a response using that as a witness, and that indicates that we've got a crow field there as well.
And when you were using, what was that?
A magnet.
A magnet. Okay.
So we use magnets to pick up the crow field.
What is it?
We don't know. It's a magnetic field. It's got a fairly short wavelength, and it seems to be able to penetrate very quickly. So if let's go back here. If I get a field coming down there, which I've got, so here I've got a crystal. That's a silicon crystal, commonly used, and it's with a bit of luck coming through there. So it's collimated to a very limited extent, and it's the North Pole of the crystal, and that is a paramagnetic field. And what I've got to do is to see whether there's a diamagnetic component, and there doesn't appear to be a diamagnetic component there. Now, what I want to do is, but as soon as I use a witness for a crow field, I'm picking up a crow field coming from the North Pole of the crystal. And that's the thing that they taught us out on the lawn. So the crystal has got some of the properties of the telepathic beam, and it'll be a standing wave, hopefully. So if I use green, it's a standing wave system. So it's got some of the properties of the telepathic beam. So if I understand a bit about this, then I'm going to understand a bit about the telepathic beam. Right, now what I want to do is, I just want to demonstrate edge diffractometry, and because that's a composite field, different frequencies, just as the telepathic beam is.
Mm-hmm.
And one way to demonstrate that is put an edge in there. Let's see if I can get that in. Right. The beam is coming up there, and hopefully that's acting as an edge diffractometer. And then if I go along, I pick up fields as though they're being bent. So instead of, if you remember, I was picking them up here,
Yeah.
and now I'm picking them up at sort of different angles there. One there.
Was it splitting it?
Still some coming straight through. Another one there. And another one there, and so on. So I'm able to split that field up into its various components, and one of them is going to be the crow field. Yep. And it's the one that comes straight through, which is the crow field. So we're breaking it down into its various components. The next thing that we have to do is to determine the strength of the field, and we'll get the markers again. But this time your target is going to be down there.
Behind that box of stuff.
Yeah.
So you've got to get the chair organised so you're looking at the target through there,
Yeah.
and coming out that side.
Right.
And what I've got to do is see whether you're able to send a field through that lot. Let's make sure there's not a field there now. Right. So you know where the target is, and
Yeah.
you're aiming your mind at that target,
Yeah.
and you're going to send a message to it. Now, that field is here, so you can pick up the field there. And there's
Blocked there.
no field there, it's been blocked by that.
Mm.
Now, Marcus is going to change positions with me. I'm going to send the message, and you got your rods with you?
Yes, I have got them here.
Mine is. And we'll see.
So first of all, before you do it, you need to just show that there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There will be something there because it's left in the trace, isn't it?
No, we've got
I've got rid of that.
Oh, you got rid of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just intentionally, just
you
waft
can
it.
mentally wipe out the field.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we clear it mentally, and then
So you've got me looking here now.
yeah. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
So okay, so I'll have a go at sending a message to that. And Marcus is going to see whether I've managed to get a message through.
Yeah, that's through.
Yeah.
Right. That's the training effect. You didn't pick it up down there, did you?
Well, I was using my head. I was seeing if you've got both going through.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Brilliant.
They are. It might just be one.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the sort of training that Don and I have been doing to increase the power
Yeah.
of the system.
Okay.
Right? So I'm able to go through that, and Don reckons he can get through sort of 2 meters of it now. So very big training effect. And we have a suspicion that with most of the magnetic sensory systems, there is a big training effect. Now, it may be because the baseline is so low, people don't use it. So the baseline is very low. So as soon as you start using your magnetic system, it comes up like that.
I didn't get the crow field going through.
The crow field should have gone straight through.
I haven't got it going through.
Now remember, the crow field has to be received by the head.
Alright, well that will explain that. Oh, there we are, that's right. Yeah.
Things you do for your art.
It's weaker though, it's a weaker response than the others.
Oh yeah, you can eventually block it, I think, but it has the ability to go through. That was my mind. If I was using the crystal,
Yeah.
you block all the other fields, but the crow field will still come through.
Yeah.
So because the crystal's a standard emitter, and you can easily demonstrate the crow field has the ability to go through things that the others can't get through. Right. Now,